You're listening or watching the Zen Supermom, the mental fitness podcast. And this episode today is for you if you are freaking out. You might have been watching me or listening to me for a while because you're a super busy mom who's yelling at her kids, even though you love them so much. And you feel like you would freaking need some help, but it's scaring the heck out of you. Because you know that where we are going to go is to healing your childhood trauma. And you just do not want to open that part. You're worried of being feeling the pain again, blaming your parents, not helpful. You're worried of completely having a mental breakdown and you feel stuck. Because where do I go from here? How do I stop being worried and how do I find a safe way of doing this if really that's what it's going to take? So if that's you who's been feeling this way, listen in. This episode is for you. Hi, I'm Elena Gomez Rodriguez, and I'm a mental fitness coach for busy moms. And this is the first podcast to help you increase your stress resistance so that you can become a Zen Supermom and simply do it all while staying calm and happy. Welcome to the Zen Supermom podcast. Hi, Supermom. Elena here, your mommy tantrum specialist. Because I used to have mommy tantrums like crazy. And now this is what I do. Inside the Zen Supermom, I help super busy supermoms who are yelling at their kids and who are stressed out and burning out. I help them become calm and zen no matter what. And the episode today is for you if you feel like it might be you who needs my help, but you're freaking out. And it's inspired, this theme, how I came up with it, was inspired by one of my potential clients. So we had a free consultation following a free training where she realized oh my goodness, it's coming from my childhood. That's why parenting didn't help. That's why mindfulness techniques and self-care time and bubble baths, that's why it's never going to help me. It's actually coming from my childhood. And from the fact that my parents were not calm Zen Superman parents, so they didn't teach me how to do that. So now, okay, this is even worse than I thought. And so we had a free consultation because I don't allow people just to click the button to pay and get inside the program. No, I have a one-to-one mutual interview with everybody basically. And she was courageous enough to have that. So we had that call together and she was slowly getting to the conclusion okay, this is what it takes. I need this and okay. And then she freaked out. So we got off the call and she promised to let me know by the end of the week. And when I was checking with her 2 days later, she was like, hey, look, not going to happen. Thank you so much. It's not you, it's me. So I was trying to find out through that email, okay, it's what happened between now and the last time we spoke and what are you afraid of? And that's where that last question, what are you afraid of? That triggered everything for her. And her response was, well, I'm afraid of everything. Even though no matter how terrible my situation is right now, no matter how guilty I feel for yelling at my kids, it's still better, that feeling, that guilt and shame. It's still more bearable for me than the fact of jumping into the unknown and starting to go through my childhood and through all of these painful things. And often I have clients who don't even know, they think they had happy childhood like I did. I always thought I had a super happy childhood. My mom just yelled at me. So what? Everybody's mom does. No, don't they? So there are different positions, different extremes. But usually when somebody tells me I'm scared and I don't want to be re-traumatized, it's usually coming from those moms who have been through some healing, who have tried to get help already. So maybe you tried classic therapy and all it did was that you just put it to light. So you opened that box full of painful memories. You felt all that pain all over again. And then even more so because you realize, okay, this is what my parents did to me. That's how it's still been effective in me 20, 30, 40 years later. And so, holy moly, this is exactly what I'm doing to my kids. And so they will be messed up exactly like I used to be. And then you go into this like super negative spiral and you are feeling even worse than before. That's the experience most of my clients have with classic talk therapy. Because all it does is it makes you talk about what happened. But there is very little of help, very little of resolution, of giving you tools and helping you heal from it so that it no longer hurts. Okay, so completely understandable. If you didn't talk therapy before, I get it that you're like, I don't want to do that again. Completely normal. So where what I do inside the Zen Supermom program is different is that not just me, now it's Sylvia as well on board, and you could have heard her podcast episode with her was the previous one. What we do is that we use specific childhood trauma healing techniques that go even beyond your smart brain. So it's not about spending hour and a half every week just talking blah, 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 blah. No. So first of all, our sessions are much shorter, 45, 60 minutes maximum. And that is because I do not want any of that storytelling, because that would just trigger your victim and the negative feelings inside of you, all that pain, and you would feel helpless and out of control all over again. Not the point. We have very effective tools on how to drill down to the experience, even if you don't remember it. Even if your smart brain doesn't have conscious memory of what happened to you, we have ways of tracking it down through your body, through your nervous system, to find the moment when it happened. Take it out, not just from, like, we cannot pretend it never happened. You will remember what happened if you have that conscious memory. But you will take out that emotional charge out of it. It will feel neutral to you. The next time you look back at it, this is how the healing feels, and I can tell you from my own experience because I had to do it first as a client so that I would know how it works for my clients before I start doing it as a therapeutic coach, right? So this is how it feels to me. All of my childhood memories that I had that used to trigger me, and because I have hyperachiever in me and like feeling weak, this is also, by the way, one of the reasons why you don't want to dive into it, because you're like, I've been avoiding my negative emotions, all of the past pain, like that's behind, let's just push. You're such a smart, strong woman, so let's just keep pushing and we will overcome this, and this is not going to break me, and I know it was not the fault of my parents, and let's just forget it ever happened. Let's go forward. Let's be positive, optimistic. This is like the fake toxic, like the toxic positive thinking, the fake positive, like let's avoid it, let's pretend it never happened, let's just keep pushing. That used to be me too. Okay, that's one of the possible scenarios why you don't want to go anywhere near the Zen Supermom program, because they're like, no, that would make me weak, feeling all that pain again. Going back to what we actually do in those trauma healing sessions, so quickly drill down, find the moment when it happened, and take out the emotional charge, like save you and heal you so that you don't have to feel that pain anymore. So as a result, yes, you will still remember this is what happened, and I can still remember it. However, you will take out the emotional charge. So if you will ever feel like you want to remember it and want to think about it again, you will not feel all of this in your body again or in your brain. Okay? You will take out the emotional charge. You will take out the pain away from it. That's what's possible. Okay. And because of doing that, it will stop weighing you down. Because right now, imagine you're climbing up a very steep hill with a super heavy backpack full of stones. And you can imagine each of that stone is one heavy memory from your past. Be it when you were a baby, when you were a child, when you were a teenager. All the pain that anybody ever caused to you, it's a stone, bigger, smaller, depending on what was happening. You're still carrying it on your back. And you're like, no, I don't want to look at it because it's too painful. You're still carrying it on your back. You still feel it. And it's your kids who feel it the moment you yell at them. Because do you know why you yell at your kids? Especially when you're tired, hungry, stressed out? Because you have no more willpower to push it away. Okay, you have that luggage at your back 24/7, but when you're well slept, when you had some rest, when you ate well, when you're fine, when you did not have a fight with your ex or your husband, you have enough energy to keep like not focusing on it because you feel it's heavy, but you're like, okay, I'm just going to keep looking forward. Life is great. Sunshine, unicorns, rainbows. Let's keep going, kids. You pretend it's not there. You avoid feeling it. You have to spend your mental energy at suppressing that anger, that hurt, that feeling out of control. So you do it by controlling, by trying to have control over everything, by hyperachieving, like proving everybody, look at me, I am good enough. Like even though my parents always told me I was not. Okay? When you have enough energy, you're trying to avoid and pretend it never happened. And it didn't kill me, so it made me stronger. Look, everybody, what a supermom I am, right? The moment it's bedtime, your kids should have been already 1 hour asleep and they are not, and you lose it, it's because you don't have enough of that mental energy to keep shoving your stuff down. It just comes up full force. It's like, poof. Okay. And this is why you need to do the work, actually, right? It's never going away. The trauma never leaves you, no matter how hard you try to ignore it, avoid it, thinking like, it's less painful if I just let's keep the things the way they are. It's like, that's what the mom told me. I like the known, even though it's terrible. Because it's at least something she knows it's going to happen. At least it gives her the fake idea of a control. Like, I know what my kids are going to do. I know I'm going to yell, but at least I know. This is the pain, I know. But going with you and healing and feeling it all over again, jumping at me, I don't know how that's going to be. Like, too scary. No. Okay. But look what it's costing you. How much energy. Can you imagine if you had that energy, if you didn't have to spend it, like not paying attention to the rocks on your back, if you could just drop it one by one session at a time? Can you imagine how lighter you would be feeling? There would be nothing to yell out at your kids. Like if I keep using that example of a bedtime, because that's also one of the things that come up very often, especially for parents of smaller children. Can you imagine there would be a bedtime? The kids would be like, again, not going to sleep because of whatever reason. Sometimes it's a full moon or it's first week of school or like whatever happened, new change, like there's a new baby coming to the family, whatever. They have their reasons. Sometimes they don't even know about it, why they cannot go to sleep. All they want is their mommy. They don't want to let you go. And they are making up excuses so that they can keep you there with them as long as possible. Can you imagine that instead of shaking them and like, that you would be able to take a deep breath in, like, okay, my child, I can hear you, I can see you. Okay, mommy will be here for like this long and then I'm going to go off, or this is enough, this is the routine we have and I love you, or just staying there with however long it takes, depending on the age of your child. Like having also realistic expectations is part of it. Choosing the right response, depending on what's going on with your child. Like you can see them in that moment. They are not doing it to annoy you. They are not doing it because they are mean. They are doing it like they want you there because some of their core needs are not being met, which you cannot see when you're being hijacked by your stuff. You will be able to see it. And based on what that need is, you'll be able to choose the right response. Is it staying longer? Is it setting up a new bedtime routine? Is it reinforcing the rules you have already set up? Is it being innovative and inventive and finding a new way that would be good for both of you? Like how you could rest while your child getting the connection, the love they need from you to feel safe, or whatever their need is that they need to meet, right? You will be able to assess and see what is the right response only when you're not being triggered by your stuff that you're carrying, right? This is what's possible, okay? That's why you need to do this work, because if you don't, what it's going to cost you is not only that baggage is still there and it's heavy, but it will be getting heavier, right? You're not having one child, you're having 2 or 3. Like that's what many moms are telling me. Till I had one kid, it was okay. Then the second came along and my world shattered into pieces, right? There can be more stress as you're coming back to work. There can be more stress as the partnership, like with your husband or spouse, or a partner, like it's not going well because there has been a lot of stress, a lot of time pressure, a lot of financial pressure as well. So that is going to keep, like, you will be climbing the hill that is getting more and more difficult. Why are you carrying so much weight with you? By the way, not even talking about your physical health, right? Because that often shows up. Your childhood mental traumas, your emotional pain very often shows up in your body, right? I don't have to even go there to tell you. Those are all the reasons why it's worthy doing it. But if you're still scared, which I understand, what we talked about so far was realizing how the Zen Supermom program is different, that there actually are, these days, there are more effective techniques than just the old talk therapy, which was like 30, 40 years back, okay? There are methods that work with the subconscious mind and that do not need to re-trigger you. You will be leaving the session already feeling better, not like bleeding all over with your pain, okay? Not necessary. So choose, if not with me, if I'm like, I know I'm sometimes like intimidating to some people and like too much in your face. If it's not me, choose somebody else, but work with somebody who's using methods that work with subconscious mind, that are effective, and who can show you testimonials of clients where it worked that way, when it's not just their blah blah, but scroll through their testimonials and client stories, listen how they work, and choose somebody who will tell you they can do it quickly and effectively, because yes, it is possible, and yes, it is possible for you too. Okay, just depending on how much you really went through as a child, if there was a shock trauma as well, if there was any abuse, violence, like it might take more sessions, but it is completely possible even in those cases. We have lots of clients like this inside the Zen Supermom program. It works for them too. Okay, so it doesn't have to be re-traumatizing. It is worth it, because if you don't do it, it's actually a lie that it's less painful if you don't do it, because you are paying the price every day, and your kids are as well. And choose somebody who you trust, okay? Because that's part of it. Relaxing into knowing that there's somebody who's got you. That's why this work needs to be done one-to-one. You're not able to do it by reading a book about healing trauma, right? Because you'll be worried and like, oh my goodness, what if I open this Pandora box from my past, and then I will be in so much pain that it will be even worse. That's why you need to work with a professional who will not let you fall down, who will like whoop up, pull you back up. Okay? Let me think. What else was there? I think that's it. Last point was I wanted to mention is readiness. Because this mom specifically, she was saying like, I'm not ready to do that. And again, I get that. I respect that. You need to get to a point when you are like, okay, I'm ready to dive in. But notice that even that will come with a level of uncertainty. Like if somebody told you really, if you knew what you know today, what it really is about being a mom, how much it's going to cost you, would you ever say that, yeah, I'm ready, when you were pregnant? Or when you decided like, yeah, let's have a child, I'm ready? Like, were you really ready? Are you ever really ready for anything that's coming in your life? All the curveballs that life throws at you, good and bad? Are you ever really ready in advance, or only after it happens? Like, is that confidence and readiness built up only through the experience of living it actually? So this is when my last invitation would come for you to consider this whole concept of readiness, which again, it's just a trauma response. Something happened in your past when you were most likely like very small. Things were out of control and it was painful for you. You hated it and you had to go and do it anyways because you didn't have a choice. Somebody else decided for you. And you felt out of control. And that was the point when you promised to yourself, like, I am going to take my time. I'm going to keep things under control because I cannot afford to suffer like this anymore in my life. Okay. It is a trauma response. It's one more reason why you actually need to do this work, because look how it's showing up in all the parts of your life, not just in your readiness to go and get help with this, but look where else it's affecting you, with your kids, with your work, in your relationships, in your health. anywhere, right? So this was my sharing, and I think that's it. I'm running quickly through my brain to see if I forgot anything, but that's it. So I'm sending lots of compassion because I know, yes, it is scary. So choose your level of scary, because one way or another, it's going to be uncomfortable. It is going to be scary. But do you choose to stay in your old pain and keep giving it to your kids so that for sure you have absolute certainty 20, 30, 40 years from now, they will be exactly in the same place or even worse where you are suffering, and their kids will be suffering again. The history will repeat. Yeah. There's no uncertainty there. I can tell you. And this is not to blame you, to make you feel even worse, but look at your parents, look at yourself, look at what's happening with your kids right now. It's going to repeat. That's the certainty. Okay. Or do you rather choose the path that might be less certain? Like you don't have 100%. Nobody will ever give you 100% certainty that it's going to work for you. But what we have inside the Zen Supermom program is 100% money back guarantee for the first 90 days right now. I'm not saying that it's not going to change in the future. Maybe I'll be putting even more, even longer money back guarantee. Because this is like none of the therapists or counselors have ever offered that to you, right? But this is where I know that even after we had that one-to-one together, and if we both say like we are a good check, we are a good fit for each other, and I have the confidence I can help you, then I'm happy to give you 90-day money back guarantee. Because it has worked for women like you, and it's going to work for you too. Okay, that is the certainty I have. You might not believe it. Do your homework. Just watch the time you're spending on it. Watch the time, how much time you have already taken. I don't want to say wasted, because you needed it to get to this point. But look how much it already took for you to get even to this point of considering, of actually getting the help. Every day that passes by, look at the impact. If you feel like you would be ready to take like one little tiny step forward, maybe not all the way yet, but you're open to considering maybe getting one step closer and just finding more about if you would be a good fit for the program, then wherever you're watching or listening to this episode, you have my email address. Just email me slow. Okay, you don't have to share your story. You don't have to say anything else. Just type in one word, slow. And what I'm going to do, that will be a hint from me that you're ready to slowly, carefully, with control, take it forward and just start exploring. Okay, so I'm not going to go like woof, full force at you that I usually do with other types of moms who are like hyper cheers, let's do this, and I need help right now, like yesterday, let's go do this. So I'm going fast with them. With you, I'm going to take it very, very slow and safe. Okay, so at any point you can tell me like whoa. So let's slow down. We will take it slow. Sounds good. So I cannot wait to hear from you, Mom. I'm sending you lots of compassion, because I can only imagine how much pain you've been still carrying around, all those rocks on your back. I can imagine it's making you very, very tired and very weak, actually. Even though it's promising you like, at least this is certainty, it's actually, yeah. Congratulations for still being here and not breaking down already. Like, you are a strong mom, I know. So let's get to know each other a little bit better. You will send me that slow email and we can start. Take care, Supermom.